5 creation kit tips to help you create mods like right now. Let's fucking go. While selecting an object, you can press F to have the object snap to the surface below it. Press Q to toggle grid snapping on and off. To toggle rotation snapping, press Ctrl Q. Hold right click and move your mouse to rotate an object. Press E to pull up the movement axis gizmo. Press W to pull up the rotation axis gizmo. Press Ctrl and D to duplicate an object. Press E to immediately start moving it. Press the delete key to delete the object. Hold S and drag on the movement gizmo to scale an object. Press the Preferences button and go to the Scripts tab. Add a fragment file prefix. This makes your scripts easily identifiable and also keeps others from overwriting your scripts with their mods accidentally, and vice versa. What this does is when you create a script fragment, it will automatically add this prefix to the front. Press this bundle of lines and dots here to pull up the nav mesh options. Select 3 or 4 points on a nav mesh and click this button to create a face. It is very important that you do not delete any pre-existing nav meshes. If you're working with a vanilla cell that already exists in the game, do not delete the nav mesh, simply hide what parts you need and what parts you don't. I'll leave a link to Darkfox's video below about that. It's really worth a watch. Hold Ctrl and right click at 3 different points to create a face. Press this button here to merge several selected points together. You can select multiple points by clicking and dragging, or holding Ctrl and selecting the ones you want to add to your selection. Press this button here to snap the nav mesh point to its closest surface. Be careful though, because if the surface is above it, it will snap above the ground. This includes things like plants and other, clutter artifacts that might get in the way, so make sure that your nav mesh point is actually on or slightly below the ground. It's better to be too low than too high. To lock a door, double-click on the door and select Lock. Then pick a lockpicking difficulty. If your locked door requires a key, you can duplicate an existing key or create a new one under Item and Find Key. Then you can set it up to unlock specific doors that are placed in your cell by opening the door edit window and going to Lock and selecting your key. Make sure that it's set to Requires Key as well for the lock type. Modular architecture meshes and objects often have the same naming convention. For instance, Nor Hall Small, or SM, signals that this is a small Nordic hallway. One way signals that there is only one entrance and one exit to this modular piece. And end cap signals that this is meant to be an end cap for other small hallways that leads to a dead end. EXSM means that this is a modular piece that contains a small exit, while EXBG contains a big exit. It'll take some getting used to, but you'll discover what each name means and be making dungeons like nobody's business before you know it. I'd recommend keeping grid snapping on with a unit of probably 64 to 128 for this part. Want to place an enemy? Don't use the actor directly, but rather use the leveled actor in the Actors tab by going and searching LVL in the filter, and then put a star or an asterisk, and then typing in the enemy you want. So in this case, it'll be a bandit. And you can drag and drop this leveled actor into your scene, and you'll see an M. This will auto-scale the enemy to the player's difficulty level, making scaling much easier. You can also double-click this M in the world view and select the difficulty type. I'll keep it on medium for now. Press this HK button up here to turn on Havoc Sim on physics objects, making them look more naturally placed in the world. Make sure to turn it off when you're done. Press this light bulb here to toggle the lights on and off. Speaking of lighting, if you go under lights, try to use the NS version of the light you want, as much as you can. The NS version is the no shadow version. Vanilla Skyrim has a hard limit of 4 shadowed lights in any given cell. If there are more, then it'll turn off one to make room for the next one. This will cause flickering and weird lighting issues in your game, and you don't really want to, have lights be turning on and flickering off and on. And also, if a character opens up a torch or uses mage light or candlelight, this counts as a dynamic light and will also affect the limit. so it's good to keep your max amount of shadow lights to about 3 in any given room. Create a cool looking character? Press Ctrl F4 to export the FaceGen data on a custom actor. This will export the FaceGen data under this folder structure in your data folder. Make sure to pack this for your mod. Recording audio. All voice files need to be 44,100 Hz and recorded in mono, and exported as 16-bit PCM WAV files. I like to use Audacity for this.